Why don't we have the self-discipline that we know we should have, that we know we want to have? I made this distinction, this aha, a couple weeks ago, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. In your small business, when you have an appointment, when you have a client waiting on you, you will get up on time, run out the door without eating breakfast, without cleaning your house. You'll throw everything together and you will fly out of the driveway to make sure that you're at that client's on time. You'll bend over backwards. You will even hold it if you have to use the bathroom for literally hours and sacrifice until the sun goes down to make sure that your integrity is there for your client. But when it comes to ourselves, why do we let ourselves off the hook as though we have no respect for ourselves? That's my question. What's up? This is Keith Kalfas, and in this video, I want to talk about 3 ways that I'm learning to develop better and higher levels of self-discipline in your life and in your business. And I want to start out with number 3. First, before we get started, I want to say thank you so much. 100,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm going to make an entire thank you video about that very soon. This is a huge deal for me. And my buddy, his book just came in the mail. I ordered it on Amazon. He's Mr. Tidy Garden on YouTube, and he also has another channel called Alpha Interactions. And this one is called The Pain Before the Game. His name is Damian Dunley. So, number 3. And that's it. In your business, you will do anything. You'll bend over backwards for your clients. And that was the main thing that hit me. You will literally hold it if you have to use the bathroom for hours. You will skip lunch. You'll do anything you got to do to make sure you're hustling to get those jobs done for your clients. But then when it comes to yourself, you let yourself off the hook over and over and over again. You can't even set and keep an appointment with yourself. So when we do that, our self-esteem goes down, down, down. Every time we break a commitment to ourselves, our self-esteem goes down, and it's an endless cycle. All right, number 2, and I'm going backwards, 3, 2, and 1. Number 2, we have this thing called the triune brain. And so at first it started out with a reptile, and they don't have emotions and fear the same way that we do. They just are purely survival mechanism. The next step is the mammalian brain has a limbic system for survival and reproduction. This part of the brain called the hypothalamus. And that's when we started to have feelings, right? Mammals have feelings. So that means you easily can be manipulated, or something can put you in fear, because that's when the amygdala came in. And now you can go into fight or flight mode where your heart's beating rapidly, you can't think straight, you're in fear. And now you're in what is basically a reactive state all the time. You're always waiting for the environment to tell you how to react and how to respond. So how are you supposed to have self-discipline when anything in the environment or anybody can put you into a reactive state to where now you're not controlling your thoughts, controlling the situation, and you're not controlling and planning predetermined, defined outcomes, because anything can throw you off at any minute. I think about a car has 4 tires and you're going down the freeway, and imagine that one of the tires just blows out and now you're just spinning on the freeway. At any time this could happen if you don't have that type of direction. So number 1 way to develop self-discipline is that I'm thinking here, like how are these ways to develop self-discipline? Well, you got to go behind that. Ways to develop self-discipline is first becoming aware of how the body and the mind and the brain works. How does all this stuff work? Once you learn how the brain works, then you can objectify and go, oh, that's the brain and the emotions and amygdala doing all this stuff, right? All right, so the third part of the brain comes along, and that's primates. Right, in the triune brain. And now you got this cerebellum and this prefrontal cortex that came into play, and now you are having thought fields. You can actually have thoughts, you can have thoughts about your thoughts, and you can start to make decisions that are actually in conflict with your emotions and in conflict with what your base instinct says, right? So now that you know that you have these thought fields, you can override your emotions about your instincts. So to back up here, you have instincts and then you have emotions about that. But with the prefrontal cortex now that we're developed, you can have thoughts that override your emotions about your instincts. Think about that. So now that you know that, now you can start to make decisions, but this takes training, right? This is where self-discipline comes from. You tell yourself you're going to do this thing, or you're going to work out, or whatever you want to do in your life. This is tied to your destiny, to your dreams, to the rest of your life. And every daily decision you make depends on the level of self-discipline you have to follow through and execute on that thing day by day, moment by moment. Whenever your emotions rise up about a situation, but that's not what you plan to do when you want to have self-discipline. You have to train yourself to become aware and objectify and objectionalize whatever's happening and divorce yourself from chaos, divorce yourself from the emotions in the moment and objectify it. And now you pop out. It's like you pop out of your reality, of the illusion that you think your life is. You pop out of the delusion that the emotion was creating or somebody else was trying to create inside of you, and you can now objectify it and say, oh my God, we've been getting hijacked. The more you allow yourself to become emotionally hijacked is the more you develop beliefs around those hijacking, and the more those beliefs wire networks in your nervous system, and the more those networks are fired is the more actions you take based off those beliefs, and now they become structures, and now they solidify into your life. So your life becomes this entire fabric, this entire ecosystem of a bunch of beliefs that were fired by emotions about the environment based off of your habits and base instincts. This is super powerful. The only way I've found out how to develop this, I'm learning, is through meditation and practicing how to recognize this when it's happening. You can practice when everything's peaceful, but can you do it when it's actually happening to you, okay? So, self-discipline is when the drama comes up, the thing in the news comes up, the painful scenario, the argument, whatever it is, right? And then you look at it in an objective way, and now you, the chooser, the decider, not the part of your brain that's the artificial intelligent part of you that's just survival and reproduction, the actual spiritual side of you, the person who chooses, is now saying, even though that these things are happening, they aren't all that is. It's just a situation that's happening. And sometimes situations are just literally people that are going through things and they're trying to make you believe in it too. And now you're in this thing too, and you're like, oh my God, this is real. But there are many, many realities, right? So anyways, now you choose. You develop the self-discipline to feel the uncomfortable situation, override it, and do it anyways. Do what you want to do, what you need to do anyways, right? Because in your business, it can be just straight up fear. It can just be your integrity to your client that makes you push through all the obstacles and get it done. But can you do that for yourself? And if you can't do that for yourself, it's because you don't have enough clarity about your destiny, about your goals and dreams. So how do you figure that out? You get a pen and a piece of paper, or get a notebook or a journal, and write down all your dreams. Write down what you want. If you can't take an hour to sit down and just write down some of the things that you want, then it's going to be really hard to hit those targets. Okay, number one, you will finally start to develop better self-discipline when you get sick of your own crap. I heard this a couple months ago and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my God, when you get sick of your own crap. When you get sick of your own crap. Now imagine, you're laying around scrolling on your phone and you know you shouldn't be doing it and you're sick of it, But you don't even have the self-discipline and the power to stop yourself, so you start doing it. What happens? Your anxiety levels go up, your self-esteem goes down, and now you feel like you just hopelessly can't even stop, so now you don't even care. Now you become apathetic. That's a dangerous place to be, right? It's when you get sick of your own crap, you, for example, take your phone, you jump up, you snap out of it, and you say, that's it! Put the phone down, uninstall that social media app that's taking too much of your time. Uninstall it for a week. Try it. You'll be fine. I promise me. Uninstall it, slam the phone down, jump up, and just go do something for yourself. Something that you told yourself you were going to do. It takes time to develop this habit, to develop these habits, right? But self-discipline is like a muscle. I'm working on this on myself every single day, and I'm falling in love with the process because I used to have no self-discipline at all, especially in the wintertime. I would find myself laying around until I became practically a vegetable because I had no self-discipline. And it's a downward spiral. You got to catch it right now. Get up, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, run around the block, write down your goals and dreams, get on the phone, make those calls, and take massive action. My friend Brennan Burchard says something very powerful often. He says, the power plant doesn't have energy, it generates it. The power plant doesn't have energy, it generates it. And this is truth, because I noticed that when the spring and the summer come in my business, can you attest to this? Let me know in the comments below. When it comes and the phone's ringing off the hook and you have 100 places to be and the pressure is on, what happened? You generate a whole bunch more energy, your initiative goes up, your anticipation goes up, and now you're fired up and you're up to bat, right? There are going to be you could be in a batting cage with 6 machines shooting balls at you and you're just hitting them all. And you develop this muscle that I know for me, by like June, July, August, like there's this really hard period in the spring where you're like coming out of this cocoon. But by June, July, August, dude, you're just, give me it. You can handle literally anything. You become this warrior that just your very presence is like, you are a straight up dominator. Now, did you do that? Or did the environment do that? Or was that you stepping up to the plate and upping your game, increasing your level, increasing your game? Or was it just you increasing your game to play at the level required? It's interesting how we let ourselves off the hook when we don't have a bunch of clients and a bunch of people demanding things of us. Now, it's very important to take a break because I think that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And if you work constantly, you'll become a dull knife that can't even cut through butter. It's like a dull butter knife. And it might be just because you were sincerely craving true regeneration. I'm talking about like an entire week of sleeping in, rehydrating your entire body, going to work out, go jogging, go to the spa, hang out with friends and family, eat some good meals, catch up on your vitamins, and go back and rekindle the relationships and go have some fun in your life. Go do those things, right? Because if you just keep telling yourself you need to keep working, because I need more self-discipline, maybe it's just time to just completely let go of a lot of things that you're holding on to that no longer have merit in your life. These might be things from the past, right? So having self-discipline is an entire holistic perspective, and it has to be in alignment. When things are aligned, you can go really, really fast. You can do a lot of things. When your environment is set up properly for you to win automatically, it's not as hard to have what is perceived as good self-discipline. And how do you set up your environment? Well, first you got to clean house. Get rid of all the crap in your environment. Start by removing the first layer of crud in your environment. Toxic relationships, having those difficult conversations, right? Going through and purging out all those old clothes and all the junk you've been hanging on to. You might have to spend a week just getting rid of a bunch of crud, right? You know what this is for you. And I hope that served you, my friend. I don't think I know everything. I'm on my own journey, and I'm excited about the process. But I watch myself go from a person who had very little self-discipline to a trusted advisor and friend telling me that they thought I was one of the most disciplined people they knew. I'm like, really? No, I would be way farther along by now. But that's what I'm learning, my friend. Let me know in the comments below, what are some tips that you're using if you consider yourself a person of high self-discipline? What are some tips? What are some books? What are some videos, YouTube videos? Drop the tips below in the comments, and let's inspire and help and engage this community, because this is our time to shine.